Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to North Reef City here on City Skylines. So last time out we built the zoo, and we also fixed some transport links around the city. I kept noticing this traffic issue though, going in and out of Linden Hilltop and also Reef Square. And I felt like I needed to do something about that. This has been bugging me for a while. I know the reason why it exists. It's because there's only one way in and out of that part of the city, and I needed to do something to change that. So here we are, doing something to change that. And like most things, this project kind of started off pretty bog standard, and then spiraled wildly out of control into probably the biggest single district that I've ever built in City Skylines, which is quite a promise I've got to live up to now. But I assure you, what I build today is very, very large in terms of spread out scale. Not so much in terms of, I'm not building a zoo or a theme park or a university or anything like that. But there's a lot going on here that I wasn't anticipating to build, basically. And every week when I sit down to record an episode of City Skylines, I always tell myself that I'm going to be recording myself building the city centre. So not worrying about, suburbs or anything like that. Focusing entirely on building a city centre. And then I always end up doing something completely different to what I originally envisaged. It's just one of those things. It happens, I suppose. So yeah, today we start off by building this motorway intersection. Now I'm not going to talk for the full hour. And at the moment I've got the video set to be exactly 1 hour long, but by the time you guys watch this, it's probably going to have some bits chopped out or added in, or this, that and the other. So take that with a pinch of salt right now. But I wanted to add this intersection here first and foremost. So this is how most of our citizens will be accessing this new part of the city. And again, this isn't going to end up being the only junction, it's just the only one for now. It's one of these things with City Skylines. You build this huge area, and then you kind of forget to build like access to it, and then you wonder why you have like mega traffic issues. And that's why, because you only build one access point. So that diverging diamond, I keep looking at it thinking, people on Reddit constantly telling me that that's the best type of junction to build, but clearly it isn't. Then I have to remind myself, it probably is. It's just right now it's the only form of junction that I've actually got into that part of the city, and that's why it's not working correctly. So yeah, trying to get new ways in and out of the city was the main, I've said this like 4 times already today, but you know what I mean. It's the main goal of today's episode is getting that done. Once that's done, we then give people reasons to actually use this new intersection. And to be honest, even before I did that, people were using this new intersection quite religiously, which I'm quite pleased about, actually. It seems to have become almost the new main way into the city, which is great. But yeah, you can see where we are now, and you can see where we need to be, which is over at Linden Hilltop. And you can also see that right now we're not actually anywhere near where we need to be. So we need to build this road here. Now, for the first time in this series, we've got ourselves a railway track here as well. That comes into play a little bit later on. And you'll also see I've gone with tree lined here. It probably won't last very long before it gets upgraded for something else. I was tempted to build a cycle route into the street, but I think what I might do is build one alongside the street between the main road here and the railway, just for all forms of transport, basically. And you keep seeing me zoom out here as well, and I kept thinking to myself, am I really that far away still? That's incredible. But yeah, we're over here at Linden Hilltop now, and I'll start revealing a little bit as to what this episode actually is. So first of all, I moved the industrial area. So we had that industrial area, I've forgotten the name of it now, and it was fine for a starting city, but it very quickly became obsolete. And you can see the demand that we have for industry right now is awful. You might have also noticed in the past couple of episodes, there have been times where I've zoomed out and, there's been huge ground pollution in the city and lots of abandoned buildings. I was kind of stuck as to what was causing that until I had a bit of a brainwave the other day. I was watching the garbage vehicles and I realized that lots of these buildings where the pollution was, they were complaining that the rubbish hadn't been collected. And sure enough, that causes ground pollution. I'm sure I heard about that at some point. I can't remember where from. But I do remember hearing about it. And as it happens, yeah, you end up with ground pollution if you don't collect your rubbish properly. So a lesson was learned. I have increased the amount of facilities that we have for rubbish collection. I'm going to say rubbish. Garbage, rubbish, basically the same thing. And the other thing that I have done for that is built recycling centres in lots of different places in the city, particularly this part here, the suburbs. You think of it like here in the UK, your local rubbish tip or your council recycling centre, whatever it might be. I don't know if there's the equivalent in the US, but here in the UK, that's what we have. Also mainland Europe, I don't know what you guys have either. But we have these, local rubbish tips where you can go drop stuff off. You also have your rubbish collections, which is they come to you. There's a bit of both worlds, basically. And I wanted to add some more of those. So you can almost imagine that people actually go and take their own recycling to these centres, even though I think the way the game works is they always go to the houses and collect stuff. So that was something, I think I did most of that off camera, but some of it was done on camera too. This roundabout here then, this is going to be one of the most important roundabouts in this part of the city. Reason being, this is our first non-highway outside connection. We're actually building 2 cargo terminals here for the railway. One connected to the track going west and one connected to the track going east. Again, this is something I should have done fairly long time ago, to be honest, to get some of the industrial traffic off the roads, particularly as we're now building a brand new industrial area as well, which is very close to this part of the city. And again, this is based on every town pretty much in the UK has an industrial area. It'd be like an industrial estate or an industrial park. Obviously North Reef is going to have a few scattered all over the place, but this is the first of those. And I think it's called Newmarket, the district, but I am going to rename it because I quite like the town of Newmarket, and I don't want them to think that they're nothing more than an industrial area, because it's not. Newmarket is a very nice town. Been there a few times, enjoyed it every time. So we're going to change that name, but you can also see what I'm planning on doing here. This is how the lorries and trucks and such like get to and from the cargo terminals. Already we have a little bit of traffic congestion. The smart person, which I am not, would have put the industrial area a little bit closer to the cargo terminal and would have had a dedicated entry-exit from that cargo terminal to the industrial area without having to go through other roads, which is what we've got here. So you see it has to cross over the main road here, and that can cause some problems. Fortunately, there are solutions to that, one of which is turning this roundabout into a vanilla overpass roundabout, or just building manual. I might build tunnels actually rather than bridges here, and just tunneling underneath the roundabout and have it as lorries only, just so that they can connect up and not have to worry about anything else. We kind of make this part of the city self-sufficient as well. We have some water towers here and we have some windmills. I think eventually I do forget about this and just make it its own thing, particularly as there's no sewage collection here, so we build an inland sewage water treatment plant, and just, I mean, again, it's self-sufficient. We could potentially isolate it and it still work, but because we're building nearby anyway, it kind of felt a bit stupid to just have it be its own thing still, so I think I do actually end up connecting it all up. This then is the entry to our industrial estates. So we're going to have one on each side. The one that I build first is the one on the left. The one on the right I think is going to be maybe more officey kind of thing. We'll call it like a science park or discovery park or something like that. The weird thing is, I think it's to do with education, but I actually have a lot of offices designated in the city centre, in the downtown area, and they don't get built, which suggests that the demand isn't there, even though the demand is clearly there. And again, I think it's an education thing. So right now, Education is something that is severely lacking in North Reef. I think there's a way you can build school bus routes, which is something I want to do, particularly around the city centre. It's not as important in the suburbs because schools are placed more liberally, should we say, in the suburbs. But in the city centre, you kind of want the real estate for, you know, offices and housing and things like that. So not so much there. So I will go back and redo the schools and get the school bus routes and stuff up and running. But basically, we had way too many students for the number of schools that we had. So again, something else I did off camera was I went and placed some more schools around the city, and not just primary schools, which is what we call elementary school here in the UK, but high schools as well. I don't think there are any secondary schools on the workshop. If there are, I'll add them instead. But right now I've just had to use the in-game high schools, which not a huge fan of, but needs must and all that. Yes, zoneless roads. I keep forgetting to do these as well. I might, I was going to say I might make a rule so that certain roads are zoneless, but then, knowing my luck, I'll place them in a residential area one day and then wonder why it's not working correctly. And yeah, I do stupid things like that, as it turns out. And we also got this entrance bit here then to the actual industrial area. Now, I've made it a one-way system around the outside. And then I think, actually, I might change one of the roads inside to be one-way as well, just for traffic going through. But I've tried to make it so that vehicles only turn in to the side streets when they're actually visiting those industries, and not just for the sake of it, which I think was the better way of doing it. But again, testings prove that that's not always what ends up happening. And yeah, here I've also done something where I've added a dedicated turn lane, which I think is one of the only places in the city where I've actually done that, rather than just having basic lane mathematics. I've actually gone through and made a dedicated turn lane there, which is what most industrial estates and side turnings do have here. But again, does it work? Not really. This is where the traffic is, by the way, this roundabout area to the entrance to the industrial estate, and it purely becomes an issue because I've got timed traffic lights. I've tried to tweak those timed traffic lights so that this is no longer an issue, but I think it will always be a slight problem. Solution to that is to add another exit to the industrial estate, maybe on a roundabout to the right hand side, and have it connect up to the main road. Maybe even just having it as an exit only. We'll see. Trying to come up with some solutions for that as I'm watching this, in fact, which might not be the smartest way of doing it, but what can you do? But yeah, this is what this industrial area is going to look like. I'm not really planning on making many changes to it. As you can see, we've got the one-way systems, the industrial roads. Any extensions to this industrial estate will pretty much be like this modular system built again. Copy and paste would be great, actually, if you could connect things up. I don't think you can. You have to kind of delete the road and then rebuild it to actually have it connect, which is kind of an issue. But, I mean, there are more annoying things in the world, I suppose. This is the exit, then, to the industrial estate. This is where the timed traffic light comes in, and it's where the problems start as well with traffic. I do also have a traffic light here. Potentially, I don't need this. I kind of added it in just for the sake of it. I probably didn't need one for the exit either, to be honest. I could have just let them handle it themselves. That's something I could try out, actually. Just remove the traffic light and see what happens. So this is the district of Newmarket. As I said, it will get changed because it's not new. Well, it is new, but it's not that new. That kind of new. And there's also no market here. It's purely industrial. And then, yeah, we segue shortly over into the new residential area, which I believe it has the name of, like, it's like Windup or something like that, or Winthrop. I think it's got the name of it. And again, I think I will change this. But we build a second outside connection. We add a railway station, passenger railway station, for first rail traffic, basically, in and out of the city. It will have other transport connections as well. And like I said, this area that I'm about to build here is just massive. It's the largest single construction that I've built in City Skylines, and that's for all of my save files, including offline as well. Something else that it's got that I'm quite pleased about is it's not a magic roundabout as such, but it's like it's a strange looking roundabout, let's put it that way. It's kind of like, it's 4 roundabouts in one, but there's like little diversion and bypass roads and things like that too. So it's really hard to know exactly where you are and where you're going, but I love it. I think it's brilliant. So hopefully you guys will like that too when you see it being built. I think it's just a cool way to navigate that part of the map, particularly as we have got some traffic, like freight traffic, cargo traffic going through that bit. And there's a little bypass so that they don't get held up by residential traffic. There's also a new park that gets built that hasn't been designated yet, but you'll hopefully see where that's going to be. We got a little commercial area with some shops and some parking, because I seem to have an obsession with parking at the moment. Likewise, we have a little leisure centre that gets built with parking. Loads of just little things like that, which, to be honest, a lot of it is based on my hometown and also places that I've visited in the past that I can remember having these things. But yeah, there's a lot of inspiration for all of these different things, and you might even see your own hometowns in some of these builds as well. But yeah, that pretty much does it for me talking for now. I don't think there's much left that needs saying, at least not in this part of the video. I'll keep an eye out as the video progresses. You can see I'm starting to place down some more garbage processing facilities here as well. One other thing, actually. So the reason I built this industrial estate was because of the demand for industrial here. What I've actually done since recording this is gone on the workshop and downloaded one of the demand adjusters. Reason being is I've built this huge residential... Oh, here's the ground pollution I was talking about. I've built these huge residential areas recently, and there's no demand for residential right now. There's a little bit. I can see a little slither of green at the bottom there. But other than that, there's no demand for residential. So I kind of want to artificially create that demand. And from that, we then boost the population significantly. And then we can start looking at big projects like airports, dockyards, railway stations, that kind of thing. It's really hard to justify most of that right now. And yeah, I know I've built, a massive arena. And I've also built a huge city zoo. We just don't have the population to support that right now. So there's work that needs to be done, I'll admit. This is me sorting out our deceased problem as well. We had a lot of dead people not being moved, and buildings were being abandoned because of that as well. So I built this huge graveyard crematorium area. You can imagine this is one single complex. And from that, we should be able to process a lot more. It sounds awful when you say it like that, but you know what I mean. We should be able to solve that problem a lot more convincingly. Every time I say I've run out of things to talk about, I'll find something massive to talk about again. But yeah, let me know what you think of this build in the comments down below. If I don't see you again in this video, then thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series so far, drop those comments down below with ideas for future episodes. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Enjoy the rest of the time lapse, enjoy the rest of the music, and until next time, I will see you soon.